Hello, Youngstown and beyond. Welcome to Waddle and Chill, Unfiltered, a Penguin City podcast. I am Aspasia, and filling in for Will is former middleweight champion with an impressive 40 wins, 34 by knockout, Kelly the Ghost Pavlik.
Hey, well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on. So,
Yeah.
I was so excited, I actually wanted to do it last week.
Yes. Yes, Kelly came by last week but it was good because we were able to, kind of talk about what we were going to talk about and, catch up.
Yep, go over everything and get it all ready to go.
Yeah, because, we were just talking that we both went to Lowville.
Yes, yep. What was that? I went over there in 95.
Yep.
And then I graduated in 2000.
Yeah.
From Lowville, so.
And you were saying, the culture shock because you were coming from...
Youngstown City Schools.
Okay.
So, it's kind of funny. What I mean by that is you come from tinfoil lunches, with a little, McRib sandwich. I don't even know if it was truly edible. And then you go to, a bunch of the old Italian ladies with the hairnets making pepperoni rolls and, carbonara, spaghetti carbonara and all that. And I was like, wow, this is pretty good.
Yeah, that's seriously a thing. When I went to Lowville, because I went from Catholic school to Lowville, I went when I was in the 5th grade. And yeah, the lunch ladies actually made homemade food.
Yeah, you had a big tray and spaghetti and meat sauce or homemade pepperoni rolls and a good salad. And I was like, the first day I was like, wait, is this for real? We could eat this?
I know, people actually wanted lunch. No one brought lunch. No one. You did not bring lunch when you went to Lowville.
No.
You wanted to eat the cafeteria food.
You actually brought it to go box.
To take home.
Yep.
Oh my God. So, we're coming off Easter. How was your Easter weekend?
It was really good. Nice. It was a little break with all the crazy going on. I enjoyed it. The family, they came, we had a bunch of people over, and it was sad, to see it end so quick and
I know.
Kind of hop back into the crazy again, but that's life. And, but it was a good Easter.
And you had a fight. You had a fighter.
Yeah, I had a kid fight on
Jack
Lowe's card at the Metroplex, and he won. He looked sharp. He's really coming along. He's ranked number 5 in the country right now in his weight class. So,
oh wow,
the kid could fight. Juan Haregi. And, it was really nice. And we're turning back around this weekend. Tommy Cordell has a amateur show card, and he'll be fighting on it again. And I have another fighter that's fighting.
Oh, where's that one at?
You know what? I don't know.
There's so many fights right now. Wow, we're stacked.
I don't know. He usually does it at Camel.
Oh, Collingwood,
but this time he's doing it. I think it's on Otis Street. I'm not sure if it's the north side or where. So.
Wow, and then you have another fight coming up at Maronite Center.
Yes,
right?
I have my show for my charitable organization. It's a fundraiser, May 31st at the Maronite Center, and we're going to stack the card. There's going to be a lot of big fights, and it's going to be fun and exciting.
Nice. That's so cool. So you're still doing, if people want to know, you're still, involved in boxing.
Yeah, I train.
Still in the Valley. What are you?
So a lot of it's under my charitable program. So my charity is the Kelly Pavlik Charitable Organization, and I target kids 4th through 12th grade for strength and conditioning, boxing. Even if they don't want to box, like in Columbiana, I do the strength and conditioning because that was one of my first loves. I love doing strength and conditioning, and I think it means everything with sports. Boxing, if you're not in shape, if you're not doing the strength and conditioning, you could have the most talent in the world and have the X's and O's, but if you can't fight for 3 rounds, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Football players, especially once they get to a certain level, they know the plays, they know football. It's the strength and conditioning that's going to take them to the next level, to add a step on their speed, up their 40 time, their agility. So it's a big part, and I research it a lot. So with that being said, I do that. I'm also offering counseling services through PsyCare, and hopefully getting the tutoring sessions in as well. And then really looking to have an after-school meal program but it's just a process, going through with it. And so my amateur show fight is a fundraiser for that, for the kids, and also to take them on trips to the tournaments, because I don't charge them. It's free for the kids. And right now I got a bunch of kids in the program.
Oh my gosh, that's like amazing.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
fun.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
We have my husband back here.
Hello.
He's wrapping up.
Got the wraps on.
You're also
Got a little training course today.
Yeah,
it's
you're-
our training center in the brewery.
you love boxing.
Too.
That's your you started.
I
What's
was-
your journey?
I was training. I was just kind of out of shape and lost a little bit as a maybe 37, 38-year-old. Just going through a transition in life, and I just wanted to get in shape. So I started training with Larry Filer downtown, and it definitely turned my health around.
Oh
I was
yeah.
in ridiculous shape and learned a few things about myself as well. Like when you're talking about the conditioning, Larry would always say you have to get in shape to get in shape. There are levels to getting in shape. Like you have to get in a certain amount of shape just to be able to train like a boxer, even minimally. And then you can start pouring more on and testing out your limits and everything.
Yeah.
And then once you step in the ring, you kind of figure out that extra level when you think you have nothing left. Keep going. That's an interesting thing.
No, it is. There's a lot to it, but boxing. Yeah, well, on that too, though, just getting in shape, doing the boxing.
Oh yeah.
Even getting in shape to get in shape. You go box, you'll eventually get in boxing shape.
Oh yeah.
And anybody can start. You were what, 38?
Somewhere around there.
And
yeah.
you train all ages, right?
Yes, I trained Scott.
Scott's on the couch.
Yeah, he came
Got
in.
Scott on the
kicked,
couch.
He kicked butt. I have 25-year-olds, 30-years that come in and train. I got again, we try to stay away. I have 10 years old, so 4 through 12. Any younger than that, the attention span, I find that's a little hard for them at that point.
Yeah.
I keep them coming in, especially if they're siblings, so let them hang out there, let them look around. They learn boxing just by being in there and watching, and then by the time they're 10, I'm able to kind of get them moving, so.
Cool. So yeah, and then you had, what did I ask you? I said, would you spar with Kelly?
Oh,
What were you like?
my answer was just kind of like, are you crazy? Hey. I mean, if you, like any sport, you could be pretty good at it as an amateur or like even as a good pro, but there are levels to even being a pro because like fighting a world champion, that's a completely different level.
Yeah, no, don't.
And I wouldn't do that. I said like, I would do it if there's a signed contract saying you wouldn't throw one punch at me. That is
Yeah, there you go.
only way. Even if you didn't, I would gas out in 20 seconds.
Well, don't worry. I've been retired for a long time. I only got about a good minute and a half in me as well.
Oh,
so.
if you had a minute and a half and you're able to throw a punch, I
Yeah.
think it would take you about 3 seconds and I was gone on the mat.
What was it? You wanted to ask him about weight. Remember you said...
So, yeah, I was wondering what it feels like making weight. Because I know, you want to have that competitive advantage, but at the same time, it's got to be so draining on your body. And just like what that process is like and how it feels to go in the next day. If you feel like you're, day of the fight, do you feel like you're kind of drained?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. It's kind of funny. So I get a lot of wrestlers, and I don't care. I'm just always very straightforward. I'm not knocking anything. But wrestling is a brutal sport. It's conditioning, cutting the weight to make weight. It's tough. And it's very similar to amateur boxing. In amateur boxing, sometimes you have to weigh in every day, 5 days. So if you keep winning, and that's tough. But now when you get to the pros and you're talking about a world ranking, you're talking about $500,000 to $1 million on the line. It becomes a totally different animal. Like you're literally getting your body down to the absolute bare minimum that you could get to. And I know that you weigh in the day before the fight, which is not enough time for the body to recoup. And it almost becomes a science coming down. Like if it's usually boxing is an 8-week camp. So you go in That's the hardest training is the first couple of weeks. So at that point, you could eat the carbs. You could still eat kind of like what you were doing out of training to keep the energy level up. And then as you get about 5 weeks out to 6 weeks out is when you start cutting back and you're still training hard. So you're almost at a caloric deficit, but you're not, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you get to about a month is when you start going slightly into a caloric deficit, which you really don't ever want to, but when you're talking about getting down to the bare minimum, you have to. And then you know that pretty much you're coming, the last 3 days, you're coming down to drying out for 3 days. And you're just kind of like not trying to dry out as much as your opponent, but you're really getting to the bare minimum. And there's nothing, like wrestlers could say, you know, all they want that it's similar, but pro boxing at that level, again, you're taking yourself down to the absolute bare minimum, and there's no getting around it. Like, you have to make that weight, and it's brutal. But again, you know, you come down and there's a little system to it, and you know, you could hire nutritionists, you could hire people that know what, your dietitian, but you're still going to eventually have to do it, and then hopefully they're good at rehydrating you in that next, you know, 18 hours.
Gosh.
And I imagine that it's got to be either just aside from that, the sparring leading up to that, you probably, you know, you want to stay in shape, stay in sparring, fighting shape, but you're worried about probably breaking your hands and wrists.
No, so that's another thing. You know, you talk about catabolic state, but I think that word is tossed around by some of the nutritional influencers on YouTube. You know, boxers look jacked the night of a fight, and you're talking about being down that week of the fight, bare minimum with food, you know, and liquid, and there's no just going in a sauna and sweating it out, right? You got to burn calories. You're still on a treadmill. You're still on a stationary bike, and with no food in your system. Ugh. You know what I mean? For 3 days, like, you're drying out. The night before, like, you're just literally putting a little bit of water in your mouth to break up, you know, the saliva, and you're getting on the scale. So it's tough, and you know, again, you just got to hope that your opponent is going through the same thing, and that you can rehydrate a little better than what they're doing. So
gosh, and then after that, you have to fight.
Yeah, and no fight. And I can say this: boxing is probably one of the only sports that, when you see them out there performing, they are not at 100%. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. You could bring in a nutritionist, and I will argue that with him, or a doctor, but they would probably agree with me. Putting your body through a 2-month camp the way it was, and then drying out for 3 days, and then just being able to eat, and then 18, 20, 24 hours later, going in and performing for 36 minutes at that pace, and with the adrenaline under the big lights, they're not 100% going into the fight. No boxer goes in 100%.
That's crazy.
And then if you happen to...
Never even thought about that, you know?
To be slightly sick, too. You can't, you know, unless you're really devastated, you can't cancel with all the promotion and all the money into promotion. And
oh, yeah, that's right. If you're sick, you can't.
I wanted to do it for the Hopkins fight. I had my wife rolled over and was like, cancel the fight. I don't want to, I'm not getting into too much, because you'll have people going, oh, God, you're making excuses. But, and she was like, cancel the fight. And I was kind of like, yeah, you know, I'm getting ready to leave for the arena. There's 6,000 Youngstown fans, you know. HBO, like, can you imagine? HBO's
there. It's just HBO, no big deal.
HBO saying, oh, sorry, guys, you know, Kelly didn't come because he had a little temperature. So, yeah, it's tough. And again, you know, there's things like that, you know. And when I fought Martinez, how hard it was to make weight. I mean, I literally thought I was going to die for that fight. Wow. And I'll tell you how bad it is. I rehydrated 24 pounds in 20 hours.
What?
Because the body, so when you do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I tell people, like, right now, I'm 222, but I could go home and eat a box of pizza, eat 12 wings, drink a glass of pop, and tomorrow I may be a pound lighter, weigh the same, or maybe a pound more. But when you're cutting weight and you go eat that, your body's going to be like a sponge, and it's going to absorb it. Body's going to say, you're not doing this to me again.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why so many boxers, like, when they weigh in and you'll see the night of the fight, on average they go up about 15 pounds to you know, unless they really, really didn't, they moved up to a weight class where they didn't have to worry about severely cutting weight. they're still going to put on probably 8 to 10 pounds in one day.
That's it. Like, you don't think about that. Like, when we watch boxing, I mean, you train, so you, but like,
watched a lot of
you just
boxing,
think
too.
that boxer, you don't
Well, I never
the
had
pain.
I didn't have to make weight or anything. I was just losing
well, you were
weight
just
and
training for,
just for health reasons.
you didn't
Yeah.
have to, you weren't doing like,
In an amateur
but just for
boxing,
fights, like, just imagining what they're all going through. And yeah, that's true. If you're sick, and HBO's,
Oh
you
man,
can't,
anybody
like, you have to
watching
do
this?
it.
Okay, and there's a good chance you might have an office job, or maybe it's like a bartending job or something here, and you just feel slightly under the weather. You're like, oh, I gotta call off. But imagine you've got to fight, and you,
And you have to
are
fight.
literally fighting for your life. You know, and you're seeing fast fists
that's
coming
a
at you.
very good point. I brought that up on. You sometimes social media is like the worst thing that was ever created. It's
Agreed.
like they just,
We're on
we're-
it, but
Except for
Yeah.
this one.
we're,
This
no,
platform.
So yeah,
but
yeah,
we get
No,
it.
I like
It-
it's.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
it's
a
brutal.
former podcaster, so
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I get it.
No, I agree with
It's
you.
brutal.
Social media, it can be brutal.
But what I'm saying is, like, with especially sports, so you'll have people come on and like, let's use this kid Lomachenko.
Oh, yeah.
So Lomachenko fought, and he had Teofimo Lopez, and he hurt his shoulder, and after the fight, he literally was in a hospital with a bandage after surgery, like laying in a hospital bed. And they took a picture, and people came on and goes, "Oh, that's bad. Like, he's making excuses. I wouldn't have put that up." He's literally laying in a hospital bed, and they're saying he's making excuses, right?
Oh man.
And it's like one of the only sports truly that, like, everybody expects you that you're 100% the night
Yeah.
of the fight. And if you say anything like, "Oh, you're making excuses," you could have all the proof in the world. And they're like, "Oh no, he's making it," it's just so they can feel relevant on social
Yeah.
media, right? Like, and the guy could have literally had a heart attack in a ring, and they had to resuscitate him, and they'd be like, "Oh, you faked it,"
He
just
faked the heart attack.
he took the dive. They paid him off.
I'm sure so many boxers are just thinking, well, you're writing this. Go ahead and just try to spar with like a local amateur and see what happens.
But they and
Feeling
it's-
100%, see what happens. It's
and they don't they don't realize, like, it's totally different when you're out there. Then you still got to go out and perform, but there's always like the people that get on there and just start kind of running their mouth, and that's frustrating too. So
Oh, I know. Believe me. I feel like when you put yourself out there, that's going to happen.
and as he mentioned, I've witnessed it numerous times. People going like, "Oh, I'm not going to work. My shoulder's been bothering me," or like, it's like, dude, you're going in to flip, a burger, or like, you're staying over a
You're
saute
sitting
pan.
in an office.
Yeah, or a guy going, "Oh, I got a little temperature." So I know this construction and labor work's tough, but but you're gonna knock this guy who literally just had a 2-hour surgery on his shoulder rotator cuff, and he's laying in a hospital, and he's making excuses like, you guys get a bellyache, and it's like, I'm calling off today. I ain't going there for 8 hours, So, but that's sports, and athletes are supposed to.
they're held to a different standard.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the
Fair or
boxing with you though, like just your training journey, you learn that discipline.
Yeah.
It teaches. It's more than just boxing. Like there's more to it. So yeah.
Yeah, I improved my eating and drinking habits too while I was doing it, because once
Yeah.
you see results, you don't.
You don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and do that.
I mean, I've slipped since, but I'm not too
know.
far away.
Well, dieting is hard. It's hard to sustain, no matter if it's
is.
health, even with health scares or whatever it is. Sometimes it's hard to sustain, but you got some people that do. And just gotta keep doing the best that you can.
Yeah.
do.
Youngstown's not the easiest place to stay healthy,
No, it's not.
but
We-
you can do it. Don't
We
think
love
that you can't.
pizza
Mm-hmm.
and beer and
Wings, hamburgers.
wings. Yeah, I mean
Right.
we're a food city.
I do.
We really are.
I do make and drink beer myself.
He
I
does
would
that.
not have expected.
But he does make light beer. So if you're trying to go light.
And
Is that kind of like the person that says they're watching their weight and they eat like 4 pieces of pizza but drink a Diet Coke?
Yeah, it's like you
Exactly.
drink the light beer and you're good.
Or order a hamburger but get the light mayonnaise.
Yeah, just like that.
I would say though, if
What?
you're saying I only want to drink 2 beers a day,
Yeah.
2 lights, a lot better than 2 double IPAs. I mean,
Yeah.
with alcohol content,
Absolutely.
calories, carbs, all that stuff.
And people now I feel like there's a trend of people that really are looking out for that.
Well, yeah,
you
you'll
know.
say if I come back from somewhere and I just had a couple Penguin Lights,
I
It's a
say
lot-
like, what
it's
did
a lot
you have?
different. I don't have the stupid eyes like.
Oh
I would
my
if
in
I
all,
had
in
just
all
IPAs.
reality, that's actually a good point. I mean, but this is, I think on dieting, and I'm still trying. I did it for a living, and now as I got older, I was doing powerlifting and started putting weight back on, and a lot of weight, and I've been on the health kick again journey, getting back down, and I lost like 23 pounds in a month, and now I'm slightly going back up, but I'm catching it again. But starting off and being aware of it is the biggest thing. Like, okay, it's like you're saying, the light beer. That's the start. It
Yeah,
really
being
is.
mindful,
Like,
being
you
mindful of like what
you're doing, and if you like going out and you want to live and have a little bit of fun, like, that's the start. And then throughout the week, it's just, finding that balance where, you could do that where you're not like kind of going off the deep end and then it don't matter if you watch what you eat 3 days throughout the week because what
Yeah.
you're doing those other days is what's hurting you.
And if you're drinking that, if you really need that flavor of a particular 8% or whether it's a double IPA or a Belgian triple or something like that, then you can just savor it, sit at home, pour it, sip on it, and like just drink one.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've done it.
He has. It's crazy.
Impossible.
Yeah.
You could do it.
And-
if I can do it, you can do it.
And speaking of journey, because I heard you say journey, we have something coming up.
Journey.
My mom keeps asking me about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You also have another journey that you're following, and that's concert.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about this like new
That's good.
thing.
That's a great segue, by the way.
Yeah,
Well,
that
he
was.
said, yeah,
The
journey.
journey. I've really
Yeah.
worked.
And I didn't even do it on purpose. That was you caught on to that. That
Yeah,
was
I was waiting for him to say journey.
So, yes, and that's where I like to bring Scott in for a minute. I kind of been obviously I was in the entertainment world. Boxing it's a sport, but it's entertainment. And I was doing that, and after I retired, I ended up getting into a podcast, and then I opened up gyms, went on a couple of other things, doing stuff, and always kind of wanted to tap into the entertainment. And probably, but not that long ago, about a year and a half ago, there's a big metal group that I became friends with the bass player, one of my favorite groups, and weirdly enough, I ended up becoming good friends with the bass player for Avenged Sevenfold, and I talked with him, but I didn't know enough, and I didn't want to approach him on saying, hey, I kind of want to get in this, not on a big scale, maybe down the line, but it don't work that way. The same as if somebody came to me as a pro boxer and said, hey, I want to get to where you are, help me,
Yeah.
do that. You can't. There's a process, and there's people you have to go through, and so that's kind of the same thing. But I was wanting to get into it, and I talked to his producer, and his producer actually puts on like a lot of the big festivals. I believe, like Sonic Temple festivals like that, and so I hesitated on it. And I didn't want to bring anything up, and then I started doing the boxercise classes, and Scott came in. He wanted to start doing the boxercise.
So that's
Yeah.
how you met.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then probably a week or so into it, I forget how it came up, but we just started talking about like me wanting to do that. And
Yeah.
he goes, hey, hold on, let me show you
Doesn't
something.
boxer size sound like aerobics?
I
Well,
want to
it-
join boxercise.
It was, but it was pretty
Sounds
intense.
amazing.
His
Intense,
workouts were pretty intense.
It's
It
an
was
intense
probably beyond
exercise.
boxer size,
I gotta
but
say something.
they were intense.
I thought you were gonna say corn, that maybe you were friends with Korn, because we were both backstage at the Youngstown Korn show.
Yeah.
And we didn't know each other whatsoever at that point. But yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, because I came out to Korn's song "Here to Stay." So
Oh my God.
yeah, and I was actually I met the band a handful of times and hung out. I was pretty cool with Phildy. Also, there was a lot of bands that I became pretty close with.
But yeah, I just thought that was funny. I remember we're both backstage.
Youngstown
That's pretty cool.
connections.
At the
They're,
Korn show.
they happen all the time.
It was actually
it
funny
was-
with Avenged Sevenfold. Well, let's not get off this topic first, then I'll get into that. But yeah, so I started talking, and he showed me his phone, and he's worked with Candlebox, and you had a video with him. He's played. He's a musician. He's played with them, and was on stage. And he goes, "Kel," he goes, "this is kind of what I do." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, I put on shows. I'm like an agent, a booking agent. I manage. I also promote. And we just started talking, and we sat down, and I was like, if you can get me involved in this, however, he's brought me along on, some of the journey stuff, and then I'm going on my own on some of these, but he's still the overseer and the booking agent. That's what it is, right? Yeah, booking agent. And so that's how kind of me and Scott really started going on it. He could take off from there, take over.
Well,
Oh, wow.
yeah, Kelly's easy to work with, first of all.
Yeah.
And when we started talking about this stuff, he probably thought I was off my,
I did
my
for a
rocker,
minute. I'm not
at
gonna
the
lie.
beginning, but I started, talking to him about it. But the one thing about Kelly is that he's a really good listener. You only have to tell him things once. He absorbs everything, and he's a strategist, which is really cool because he understands promoting and that type of thing. And he puts in the time and the work. So we've been working on a lot of projects, some that we haven't publicly launched yet.
Yeah.
But he's got the Journey show with you coming up with Escape, which is the #1 tribute, Journey tribute. And then he also has some shows at New Waterford, Ohio. He's
Okay.
got a 3-day weekend coming up there. So yeah,
When's
we're
that
pretty
one?
excited.
When's that?
That's August 8th.
Oh, that's
9th,
in
and
August?
10th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a couple more that we're confirming, but he's currently now they've got Lewis Bryce, which is Lee Bryce's brother, just
Oh.
released a new song. He'll be there. We have Morgan Miles from The Voice. We've got Mark McKay, who's on tour with Gary Allen. We have Tantric, and we've got a couple other headliners that we're going to be releasing soon.
Oh
And then,
my gosh.
Yeah, and we have like Hinder and Saliva and a bunch of those bands coming up in September. But yeah, he was easy to work with, so it was a no-brainer. And but he's got some good shows coming up with you as well.
Well, we have the Journey tribute. That is Saturday, May 10th. When are doors on that? That's like 7 p.m. or
6 o'clock doors,
6
8 o'clock
doors,
show. Yeah.
8 o'clock show. And then we'll put the link up for the Eventbrite where you can buy tickets. And Mario, you said what? Who wants to go?
My mom keeps asking me. She
She-
wants all the ins out.
Yeah, you gotta
I-
bring her.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the plan.
I mean, we have been getting calls like nonstop for Journey,
Yeah.
the Journey tribute. Like that was just a slam dunk. That was a really good choice, I think. And it's so fun. Like I love that like we're going to be doing these shows too in the back. Like I just always, envision that space to be a fun little concert venue, and I'm excited that, we could all work together
Yeah.
and bring that. And
And
I hope we
hopefully
could
more.
get more. I know I would love more shows. What do you want to see? Just, drop us a line. Tell us like, what shows you want Kelly to bring. Like, let us know. We'll let them know. What's interesting.
What's great about this venue is that #1, parking's super easy.
Yeah.
You don't have to walk a mile to
No.
get here once you park.
Because there's street parking too. You can park on the street.
And if you
Yeah.
haven't been here, it's mammoth.
Yeah.
This place is huge. But when you walk in, you've got the front area, but the concerts are going to be in the back area, and that is also huge. We could probably put maybe close to 800, 1,000 people back there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room. There's easy access to the bars. The parking's easy. It's just a really easy venue to get in and out of and have a good time at. So.
Oh God, yeah. And for downtown, like I don't know, I'm just excited to be able to bring more live music downtown. I think there should be more. Like
absolutely.
there should be stuff
Well,
going
weren't
on.
you recently rated like #2 for the destination?
Yeah, we get,
we need to plug that.
Well, yeah, we did. They did a study on like who walks in the venues like here, and we had like last year we had like 144,000 people walk into Penguin City. Cavelli had like a little over 300. So yeah, we came in second.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a fun
Yeah,
spot.
you're talking about a huge center.
Yeah.
Compared,
Yeah.
So
It's-
like
it's a
people are
perfect
coming.
venue to start
Yeah.
developing concerts and music, and
Oh my
it's
God.
got so much potential that's even untapped yet.
And I'm excited. Like I'm excited for Journey.
That was
So-
my beer.
What?
I said untapped. I was
heard
you were
that.
super funny. You were really. That's the funniest I. Yeah.
Nice little pun.
That's the funniest I've ever seen you was this morning. So I had to throw something funny in there.
What did I do? What did I say? Funny.
You know, you were funny today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
You mean just in general?
Just in general, his jokes weren't that bad. They were
So
pretty-
Oh my gosh.
I've been telling Scott. I just want to let everyone know. I've been telling Scott because he's in the comedy, and I work with him a little bit on that, and eventually I like to go down that road, and I tell him, I'm like, you may be my agent, like for me to go up there on the stage because I got some.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another segue. Speaking of comedy,
I'm joking. I'm not doing.
we have some people from Kill Tony Show that are going to be coming in here to do a podcast. We
Yes.
have Enrique Chacon from Kill Tony. We have Jack Shaw from Kill Tony. We have Marcus Monroe, who's the famous Subway comic. Have you ever seen him on Instagram? He's going to be in town here, all in the same weekend. So we're all going to be in here we're trying to get everybody all in the same room together. We've got Matt Lopes, who's got to be pushing, just on Instagram, 500,000 followers. And then we also have, who am I forgetting? Mope Williams
Mope
from Wild and
Williams,
Out will be
yeah.
in here as well. He's going to come in and do a little thing with the karaoke and to promote the show, and then he's going to come back and do an after party thing. So that's
Oh my
May,
God.
the last weekend in May. That's
I might have to battle you
that's
karaoke.
yeah.
Mario.
Yeah.
Mario, we're gonna need a bigger
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah, so
Get
we
on
have,
it, Mario.
that's
Oh
the
my God.
29th, 30th, and 31st, that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So
Cool. We'll keep everybody,
Yeah.
let everybody know about that. And oh my God, this was amazing, right?
This is great.
yeah, you
fun.
got a
I'm
great
so
May,
excited.
Great month of May coming up.
This was a great show. I'm so sorry Will couldn't be here for it. He's probably so upset.
You're not going to be here?
Will is is my co-host.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't make it today,
I mean, I know.
so Richard
smaller-
kind of filled in a little
smaller,
bit.
Not nearly as loud,
Yeah,
but hopefully I did all right.
but yeah,
You're doing great. You'll be back on.
yeah, and we're gonna go. Well, I want to thank you for coming. Like, this was amazing. Thank you for visiting and hanging out with
not a
us
problem.
and talking about all your cool stuff that's happening. And Richard wanted to show Kelly his little gym
Our training.
Oh, nice.
training thing. We're going to do that right now. And,
Are they going to
We're
do
good.
sparring? You guys going
oh my God,
Yeah,
no,
we talked- that's
no
never
sparring,
happened,
but
Just a
you'll see.
little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little. This stuff all back here has created mini fighters.
Is it?
Alcohol.
Oh yeah. Not good fighters, but fights at least. All right, we're here at Kelly Pavlik. We found some pads laying around. I've got some gloves and wraps, and I'm gonna hit some pads a little bit. Am I gonna go easy? Cause I don't know.
You should be. If it hurts, I'll say ow.
I don't think it's gonna hurt. All right. so-
Thanks for watching Waddle and Chill.
Thanks for having me, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Waddle and Chill Unfiltered is proudly recorded in downtown Youngstown, Ohio by Penguin City Brewing and Apple Ridge Productions. Waddle and Chill theme Shadow Grip by Gil Mantera's Party Dream.